Welcome back to Module 3. In the last video, we maximized your Social Security. That's your foundation. But for most of you watching this, Social Security alone isn't going to be enough to pay all the bills. There's still a gap. So let me ask you a question that my friend and retirement expert Tom Hegna often says. Who are the happiest people you know in retirement? Think about it. Is it the person watching the stock ticker every day, stressing over whether the Dow is up or down? No. The research shows the happiest retirees are usually school teachers, firefighters, and military veterans. Why? It's because they have millions of dollars in the bank, right? No, usually not. It's because they have pensions. They have a check that hits their bank account on the first of every month, guaranteed, for as long as they live. They don't have to worry about the market because their survival isn't tied to it. But here's the problem. We don't live in a pension world anymore. We live in a 401k world. Your employer shifted the risk from their shoulders to yours. You climb the mountain of accumulation, and now you have to be your own pension fund manager. And frankly, that's terrifying for most people. In this module, I'm going to use a word that might make you bristle. Annuities. I know. You've heard the bad press. You've heard the I hate annuities. But I want you to set those preconceived notions aside for 10 minutes. Because an annuity is simply a pension that you buy for yourself. It's the only financial vehicle on the planet capable of turning a lump sum of cash into a guaranteed income stream that you can never outlive. Today, I'm going to show you the math behind why they work, specifically a concept called mortality credits, and how adding just enough of this personal pension to cover your essential bills can scientifically increase your happiness and lower your stress. Let's begin building your floor. Welcome back. In Module 2 of the Stress-Free Retirement Blueprint, we secured your first layer of guaranteed income, Social Security. Now we face a reality of retirement in 2026 and beyond. The corporate pension is nearly extinct. We're moving from a world of defined benefit, where the company guaranteed your check in retirement, to defined contribution, where you are responsible for your own survival. If you don't have a pension, don't worry. Most people in today's world don't have one. In this module, we're going to build one for you using the only financial vehicle capable of replicating it, the income annuity. Now, to cover your essential expenses, once again, we can't rely on maybe money like stocks. We need for sure money. In the financial world, there are really only three sources of guaranteed lifetime income. One is Social Security, the inflation-adjusted base for almost everyone. Pensions, if you're lucky enough to have one, well, this is a massive asset. But for many of us, this leg of the stool is just missing. Income annuities. These are essentially personal pensions you can buy from an insurance company to fill the gap if you don't have a corporate pension. Together, these three make up your essential pool. If these sources cover your basic bills, you win. You've taken the biggest risks off the table. Now, let's define what a pension actually is. Technically, it's what's called a defined benefit plan. Your employer has made contributions throughout the time that you worked for them, and they promise to pay you a specific monthly amount for life, regardless of what the stock market did. Now, why are pensions so attractive for covering essential expenses? Because they transfer two massive risks, market risk and longevity risk, off your shoulders and onto your employer. But as we discussed in my book, The Retirement Income Equation, traditional pensions have just faded away. Companies just didn't want those risks anymore, so they shifted them to you via 401ks. Today, you have to be your own pension fund manager. Now, my friend and mentor, once again, Tom Hegna, asks a great question. Who are the happiest people you know in retirement? It's usually school teachers, military veterans, and firefighters. Why? It's because they have millions in the bank. No, no, they don't. It's because they have pensions. They cover their essential expenses with guaranteed checks. If we want the same happiness, we need to replicate that check. We do that with an income annuity. So let's explain to you what we would call mortality credits. So, how do insurance companies pay you more income than a bank or a bond fund? Well, it's not magic, it's math. It's called mortality credits. So, one of my favorite things that I learned from Tom Hegna was that he uses an example. Imagine 5 90-year-old ladies, they go on vacation once a year together, and they have done this for years. One year, they decide that they're all going to put $100 into a box and they'll come back the next year and they'll split the money evenly. They agree that that money, if one of them goes away, then the money will be split among the survivors. So 1 year later, one of the ladies has passed away. The 4 survivors split the $500. They each get $125. Well, that's a 25% return on their money. Now, did the stock market go up by 25%? Nope. Did interest rates go up? Nope. Did they take any risk at all with their money? Nope. That return came from the mortality credit, the money left behind by a person who didn't need it anymore. This is a return that only an insurance company can manufacture. Now, this slide illustrates why a personal pension, an annuity, beats a bond portfolio for income. An investment advisor can only give you two things: interest and principal back. That's it. An insurance company gives you those same two things plus longevity or mortality credits. They subsidize those who live a long time with the capital of those who don't. This allows you to take less money from your portfolio to generate the same amount of income, leaving more of your other assets free to grow. Now, here's what I'm going to hear from you. Well, but Jeff, my money goes away, the insurance company takes it and gives it to other people. Well, when you buy an income annuity, you can also put on there a minimum guarantee period, which that minimum guarantee period is based on your life expectancy. Insurance companies are amazing at being able to predict kind of the average or the median age for most people when they die. So you can say, let's say you're 65 today, you can say, well, I want a 30-year guarantee period on my annuity, which means that if you die in the first year, somebody, your beneficiary, is going to receive all of the money you put into the annuity plus interest up until you would have been age 85, which means all your money came back with interest during that time period, and then the income payments would stop. If you die in the 29th year, then somebody else will get that, for 1 year, they'll receive payments and then those payments will stop. Your beneficiaries would receive those. So you can make sure that you are guaranteeing your paycheck for life. And that risk then goes on to the insurance company. So here's how we use this in the Sure Horizon retirement plan. We look at your gap, the number from Module 2. If your Social Security doesn't cover your essential bills, we use a portion of your savings in the center pool to buy a personal pension, an income annuity, to fill that specific gap. Once your basics are covered by guaranteed income, you are free. You have a license to spend in your remaining assets because your survival isn't at risk anymore. So it's time to put this into practice. Now it's time for your homework again. Your homework for this module is to figure out exactly how much it would cost to build a personal pension, to fill in the gaps in your essential income. You have two ways to accomplish this. First, if you want to run the numbers yourself, you can use the immediate annuity calculator from our friends at dinkytown.net, and that'll be in the show notes for this episode. This will give you a great baseline estimate. You're going to have to kind of figure it out a little bit as far as how much you need to put in to reach your number by putting in a dollar amount from your portfolio, an interest rate, which I would just stay with the one that they put in there, and then the number of years until you turn age 85. And I just say that because that's kind of the average age for males and females. Second, if you want a more customized approach, I highly recommend reaching out to a qualified insurance agent or financial professional who's familiar with holistic retirement planning. They can run the specific real world quotes for you and show you exactly how an income annuity fits into your overall Sure Horizon plan. Once you know what it takes to secure your foundation, you're ready to move on to the fun part in Module 4, building your playchecks now.